Hi, my name is Agnes, and I'm here today with Katie and Trevor, who went to the University of Dundee on an international exchange. And they're going to tell us a little bit about themselves and the exchange experience. So first, please tell us about yourselves, your majors, and all that good stuff.
I'm Katie. This is Trevor. We're married.
Yay.
And we went to the University of Dundee on exchange. We go to University of Waterloo regularly, and we're both in the English Rhetoric and Literature program. So we took English courses at University of Dundee.
All right, that's cool. So why did you choose that exchange destination in particular?
Well, we wanted to go to Scotland because we were charmed by the idea of going to a place where our language started, and being English majors, that was significant for us. We did also consider Barbados because it was like a holiday destination, and that seemed pretty good too. But in the end, we decided to stick with our strong suit.
Your strong suit.
Yep.
All right, cool. So tell us about your overseas courses. How was the teaching and the learning styles different than what we have here at Waterloo?
Well, I would say the classes were just a little bit smaller, which was kind of nice. It's a bit of a smaller university. And each course that we took had a tutorial associated with it, which took up half of the lecture time. So rather than having 3 full hours of lecture, we'd have half the time as lecture and half the time as tutorial, which was very nice because it provided a lot of interaction, especially with the smaller class sizes, which sort of caused us to have to do the readings and make sure that we were keeping up with the work. And it also helped us to get to know our professors more. So that was a really nice experience for us.
So speaking of your courses, what courses did you take there?
We took Modernism and Modernity and Old English.
Old English.
Yeah.
Could you tell us a little bit about those courses, just briefly?
Yeah, sure. So Modernism and Modernity is kind of what it sounds like. It's talking about literature from sort of the turn of the century, 1900s, to right up until the First War, approximately. And it's a really exciting course, literature-wise, in my opinion at least, because it's talking about the massive cultural change that happened when the First World War happened, and a lot of Victorian society's preconceived ideas about their values were kind of crashed, and so the work is really angsty and quite experimental. So it was a really fun course, and it was fun having an English person teaching it to us because I guess he was a little more connected to the culture, having obviously grown up in England. And Old English was about the history of our language when it first started developing, and we learned about the development of Old English society from about the year 800 till maybe 11 or 1200 or something like that, and we learned about the language, the Old English language, as well as the sort of Viking culture.
Vikings.
Well, that attacked the Anglo-Saxons at the time, which was kind of an exciting sort of thing to learn as well. So we learned a lot about England historically, as well as literature.
Sounds like a really exciting experience.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay, so how was the student life like outside of academics?
Dundee has a really vibrant student life, and that was nice to see. Their student life center is very large, and it's always bustling with people.
There's 3 bars.
There's
2 bars.
There's 3 bars. In fact, when we first arrived, they greeted us with a international exchange ceremony, and there were other exchange students there, and there were what do they call them?
They call them nibbles.
Nibbles.
Well, they were actually appetizers.
And,
kind of funny.
And wine. So
Yeah.
that was really fun. So we got to hobnob with the professors
Yeah.
and other exchange
It was
students.
a great way to
A
start.
warm welcome?
Yeah, absolutely.
How was the rest of the city? Did you find like a similar experience?
Yeah, we enjoyed the city. It was about maybe the same size as Kitchener-Waterloo, and it had a nice little shopping center in the middle, and it was enjoyable. And it's got 2 universities and 1 college. So there's quite a lot of student life, a lot of cute little pubs and fun events going on all the time. There's always...
Yeah, and the city itself is actually built right on the Tay River, which is a river coming in from the ocean. And so you see a lot of aquatic life if you're looking out into the river. We saw seals and lots of fish. And
if you go to a different season, you'd see dolphins as well, which is neat.
Dolphins?
Yeah.
Wow.
So, in fact, we also fished outside on the Tay River and caught some stuff as well.
Did you?
Yeah.
Wow.
And the city is right near Edinburgh. It's about an hour train ride from Edinburgh, so you're right next to one of the most beautiful cities in the world, in my opinion. And they have things going on all the time, plus they have an international airport, so it's a really great location as far as if you want to do other traveling as well.
It's great to hear. What about the food and stuff, since we're on that topic of traveling?
Well, the food was good. I mean, I wouldn't classify, Scottish and English food as the most diverse and creative food or exotic, but it was good, and
it's charming.
It's charming. We did engage in the different cultural foods that they have, like haggis and nice dark ales and pubs.
We had haggis.
We had to pinch our budget a bit, so we survived a lot on brown beans.
Yeah.
But
then we'd splurge every once in a while and get some nice fish and chips and eat them on the river, going out to the ocean. So that was nice too.
Watching the marine life.
Yeah,
exactly.
that's right.
It's fun.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you talked a little bit about pinching your budget, but what are some of the challenges you experienced?
Yeah, well, definitely food is very expensive there, like you mentioned.
Especially fresh food.
Right, so buying vegetables, anything green, is really expensive. So we try to eat healthy, but also try to avoid spending too much money. And that was a challenge.
Yeah, and one of the ways you can skirt that challenge is by taking a weekend flight out to Spain and eating the fresh food there.
It's fun as well, I guess.
Yeah.
So did you have a lot of opportunity to travel while you were there?
We did, yeah. We during our actual program, we tried not to travel too much because we wanted to make sure that we passed and whatnot. But we were able to take a weekend trip out to Denmark, where Trevor has relatives, and visit some of his European relatives that I had never met, which was neat. And so we got a tour of Denmark from them, which was awesome. And then they have a winter reading week, which was a fall reading week, which was a spectacular surprise. So we used that. We met up with some friends that we had met who were from Spain, and we did rented a car and did a road trip tour of the Scottish Highlands, which is really, really beautiful.
You sound like you want to go back right away.
Of course.
Of course.
It would be nice. And then we also didn't have any exams, so we had all of December off, so we used that to tour the rest of Europe, which was great. We went to see a lot more places after the program was over.
It's fun.
Yeah, it was nice.
It's cheap to travel around Europe too, right?
That's right, yeah. You can get a flight for, if you're lucky, £5. If you're not so lucky, between like 30 and 100 pounds to go really anywhere in Europe. So they have great budget travel. It's spectacular.
I wish we had that here.
I know. That would be wonderful.
So what impact did the exchange have on you as a student and, as a person?
Well, definitely it was really great to be there, again, in the birthplace of the language, and to experience everything in person. So, for example, when we went to Edinburgh, there was a monument erected in the middle of the city to Sir Walter Scott. And so that was really exciting to see, having learned his work. Also, when we went to the Lake District, having read lots of William Wordsworth over the years, actually visiting his cottage in this really scenic part of the Lake District, it was awesome. And it really just grounded everything that I learned about his literature in real life. And I have a much, much better appreciation for it now.
And
I would agree, yeah. Got to see the spectacular hills that he was going on and on about in his poetry. It was wonderful.
Also, when we went to Denmark, that's the home of the Vikings. So we actually saw a king's burial ground with his entire tall ship that he was buried in. So that was really unique too. And again, after learning Old English, that was very relevant and helped ground it too.
Would you say that's a tip or a bit of advice you have for the people watching?
Yeah, that's definitely a tip. Take chances.
Yes.
Leave your comfort zone. Because if you follow your regular routine that you would have here in Waterloo, you're not going to get out and you're not going to see all the great things there are to see. So definitely make friends with other international students, because they will also have the passion to travel and see things. So I would definitely recommend doing that. Otherwise, you'll just stay inside your room and do your work, and which is good, but it's limiting, and you need to make time for that.
Yeah, absolutely, and also budget for it. You can see how much the program is going to be, but always put aside a little bit extra money for traveling, because you don't want to get there, find out there's this amazing thing you didn't realize to do, and not have the money to try it out. So
Right, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
All right, so thank you for your time today, and that's it.
Applause, self-applause.